according to the introduction, I'm Lyndsey, and I am a project coordinator with TIANS, the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia, which, as most of you probably know, is a not-for-profit agency group that champions issues on behalf of the tourism industry in Nova Scotia. So for the past year and a half, I've worked with the Tourism Technology Project, that's the one, and worked with a lot of operators here in Cape Breton. And it's gone through a lot of phases over the years. At first, it was getting tourism operators to have a fax machine. Then it moved on to why you should have an email address. And then it moved on to why you should have a website. And now the current phase is why you should have a website, improving your online presence, and using social media, those sort of aspects. So unfortunately, the project is coming to the end at the end of the month. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be a new project. We just are not aware of what that project is going to be at the moment. So the TIANS is still supportive of operators and learning about social media and websites. So if there's ever any assistance you need, let us know. So during my time with the Tourism Technology Project, I've had the pleasure of working with a variety of operators. And we all know how to use Twitter and Facebook, that sort of thing, but now TripAdvisor is becoming a really prominent aspect online. So TripAdvisor is climbed its way up to being the world's largest travel community with over 60 million unique monthly visitors. They feature more user-generated content than any other travel site with over 75 million reviews. 60 reviews are posted every minute, and over 32 members are on there. So what all those statistics really mean is that there's a lot of people using a TripAdvisor, and so you should absolutely be active and online with TripAdvisor. So because TripAdvisor has become such an important role in the tourism industry, I'm going to share some time today discussing some few best practices. So we're going to discuss how to tell the story of your business with TripAdvisor, claiming what is yours and managing your listing, why it's important to respond to both the negative and the positive reviews, and some ways to improve your TripAdvisor rankings. So first of all, we'll get started with how to tell your story with TripAdvisor. So you've all heard, tell your story, make it unique, make it compelling, what differentiates you from everyone else. And the same goes with TripAdvisor, you have to tell your story. However, with Facebook and Twitter, the difference is you're marketing, you're telling the story to relay to your customers, where with TripAdvisor, it's your customers that are making your story and crafting it and telling the world who you are. So for some, this is very terrifying that your customers are the ones telling what you're all about, which creates a very love-hate relationship with many operators. However, if you're providing a great service and product, then TripAdvisor just shines a favorable light on your business. And if you're not providing a great product service, then TripAdvisor may shed an unfavorable light, but you can take this experience and you can make the changes and step up and start meeting the expectations. So because the story of your business is being told by the customer on TripAdvisor, people tend to believe these reviews over operator-driven marketing. So it's like in your everyday life, when a friend recommends the cafe down the street, you're probably going to go and check it out. However, if you get a flyer slipped under your door, you may or may not, or probably end up in the recycling bin because you don't know if you want to really waste your money on something that you haven't heard anything about. And why this is that you trust your peers, you trust your coworkers, you trust your friends. And in a day where there's all these flashy ads and products that are all the same, doing the same thing, it's a way that you can differentiate yourself. So how do we choose between products that all seem to be offering the same thing? We trust our peers. People generally trust people. So many people will ask, how do I get great reviews? So the first important factor is you have to have a great product and service so people will want to write great reviews about you. Then you have to help your customer craft your story. So a lot of the times it's simple. You just have to ask them. So when a guest is checking out of a hotel and mentioned they really enjoyed their stay, the eggs Benedict in the restaurant was delicious, just ask them if they would like to share this experience on TripAdvisor. Some will say no, some will say yes and not go home and do it, but there's no harm in ever asking. So TripAdvisor provides some great online tools, marketing tools, and one of them is reminder cards. So these cards simply ask, how was your visit? And it gives a direct link to the business's TripAdvisor account. So this makes it really easy for guests to leave a review. They don't have to go searching for the listing, and personally this serves as a reminder that when I find this card in my luggage after traveling for a few days, I'll go home and I'll write a couple reviews about some places. So you want to make it really easy for your guests to write reviews. They're doing you the favor. They're taking 10 minutes out of their day to write a review, and this could possibly be fantastic marketing for you. So TripAdvisor will provide the first 250 of these cards with the direct URL link for free. So strategically hand out these cards. When someone comes to check out at the front desk and tells you that their children really love the pool, give them the card and ask if they wouldn't mind sharing their experience on TripAdvisor. You already know they had a good experience, so what's the harm in asking them to share this information? And so another great way to tell your story with TripAdvisor is to update your pictures. If I'm looking at going to a lodge or cottages in the winter, I don't really want to see a picture of children swimming in a pool and the sun shining and outside tanning. I want to see the snow-covered cottages. I want to see people jumping in the hot tub after spending the day on the ski hill. It's really like being on a dating site. If you see the same pictures of the same people over and over and over again, you start to wonder, do they even check their account? Are they updating? You want something to grab people's attention. So you can update your profile picture on TripAdvisor. So TripAdvisor data shows that the more photos, the more time travelers spend on the listing page. They say that travelers are 150% more engaged on hotel listings that have 20 photos or more. So some people will just flip through the photos and not even look at the reviews. So also think about the amount of people using iPads, iPhones, Androids, all those mobile devices. These are what are made for pictures. This is what people are looking on, and they're flipping through pictures, not necessarily reading the reviews on here. So one thing to remember with pictures specifically is that pictures can be added by the owners and the customers. So you're bound to get a few of the dark, blurry, amateur pictures. But if you keep adding your own, you can own quality photos, you can offset some of these amateur ones. So as you can see, telling your story requires a little bit of a different approach on TripAdvisor. But again, if you're providing a great service and experience to guests, they'll do the work for you, writing great posts, posting great pictures for you. So next we'll move on to claiming what is yours and managing your own TripAdvisor account. So would you ever let your competition do your marketing for you or manage your Facebook or Twitter? Probably not. But why is it so many operators still don't own their own TripAdvisor listing? So your TripAdvisor listing is yours. It's your business. You should claim it. You should own it. You should run it. If you don't want any part in the TripAdvisor thing that everyone's taking part in, that's fine, but you should at least own your own listing, so you're owning what is yours. So to own your listing, quite simple. Find your listing, go to the end of the page, click on where it says manage your listing, follow the steps, pretty easy. So there's many reasons why you should manage your TripAdvisor listing. As I mentioned, number one is that it's yours, so you should own it. The other reason to manage your own listing is the ability to change the pictures and update the information, that sort of thing. So if I'm looking around TripAdvisor looking for a place to stay in the deck and I come across a bed and breakfast with some great reviews and pictures, and then I go to an empty description. So I don't know if it's a seasonal property, I don't know if there's Wi-Fi there, I don't know if I can bring my dog, I'm going to be a little frustrated. So I might go on, keep searching, and find something that does have the information for me online. What else is really frustrating to potential guests is they spent the time looking on TripAdvisor, they found the perfect bed and breakfast to stay at, they're 100% sold, they're ready to book, and they go and there's no email, and there's no phone number, and there's no website. So there's no way that they can get to you to book. So some people will go on Google, find the property, get the information, and book, but other people will move along to another posting, and you've lost a potential guest. So you don't want to put all this energy into your TripAdvisor, updating pictures, having great posts, that sort of thing, and then not even have an email address that someone can contact you to stay with you. So the other main advantage to owning your TripAdvisor listing is the opportunity to respond to the reviews. Again, this is where the love-hate relationship sort of comes into play with operators. Many times operators will ask, what if I get a negative review? Well, what do you do when you have a guest that comes to the front desk and there was the sheets were dirty or there's a hair in the tub, would you look at them and walk away behind the front desk, or would you continue looking down at the front desk and continue your work? Probably not, and if you would, then I would probably reconsider the hospitality industry. But most of the time, you would address the issue with the guest. So you would find a solution, work on one with them. But the difference is with TripAdvisor is instead of working out the issue one-on-one with the guest at the front desk, you're working out the issue with the guest with 1 million other people watching online. So some actually take this as an advantage. They like it, that sometimes the TripAdvisor reviews point out something that they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know that there was tiles missing in the pool area, and now they do because of their TripAdvisor, the negative post. Also, some people don't like being thrown off guard by an angry guest at the front desk or leaving a restaurant. So this gives you some time offline to craft an apology, think about the situation, and be able to work something out with the guest offline. So managing your listing allows you to do all this. Change pictures, add descriptions, add contact information, and respond to reviews. The good, the bad, and the ugly reviews. So you should see this actually as a gift. Being able to respond to reviews is like your second chance at repairing an unsatisfied guest experience. So now that we've discussed why operators should manage their TripAdvisor listing, we're going to go a little bit more into depth about why it's important to respond to both the negative and the positive reviews. So I often get questions about how often should I respond? Do I respond to all reviews? How timely should I be? And unfortunately, there's actually no set of magic numbers. You just have to be yourself, say what you would in person. I mean, would you wait 2 months to respond to someone at your front desk that left a comment card about having an unpleasant experience? Probably not. So you probably wouldn't want to wait 2 months online to respond to something on TripAdvisor. So you have to be timely when responding to negative reviews. You want to respond when the guest experience is still fresh of mind, not months later when they've come to the conclusion that you don't care that they had a bad experience. So there's no magic words. You can respond with an apology, an explanation, basically whatever you would say in person. But it's definitely not the place to make excuses for the guest experience. The guest doesn't care that the chef was out sick and that's why their steak was burnt. Don't make excuses. Just apologize for the experience. Most of the time, they just want the operator to apologize, reach out, and explain what happened, and reassure them that the situation is not going to happen again or to another guest staying there. So people sometimes concentrate so hard on the negative reviews that they forget about the positive. So think about when you're using TripAdvisor yourself. For me, usually it's looking for resorts down south. And of course, you always look at the negative reviews, we all do, but you also look at the positive and the neutral reviews. So in your mind, you gather all the information together, and you look at the negative reviews with a grain of salt, because there's always those people who like to complain or just are never satisfied, or they just had different expectations, and those expectations weren't met. So you take all these reviews together, and usually the majority wins. So I wouldn't sweat those negative reviews when you have a bunch of positive ones. But remember, you do need to address the negative reviews, because often an angry customer can lose more potential business than a happy customer can bring business. So some say it's not necessary to respond to all the positive reviews, that it can get repetitive, but usually I say to respond to them all if you can. Why should only the negative reviews get the attention? It's like ignoring your well-behaved child when their younger brother is out of control. You should reinforce positive behavior. So recognize those who wrote positive reviews and thank them. Time is money, and their positive reviews are free advertising for you. So simple thank you can go a long way. So the other thing is to make sure to not use generic lines that are cut and pasted as a response. If you can't think of something original to say to all the positive reviews, it's okay. You don't have to respond to them all, because people like to see a genuine, personalized responses to all the reviews. It shows the kind of personalized service that you would hopefully provide to your guests and customers. So focus on responding to the positive reviews that contain information you want to highlight. So for example, if someone wrote a great review about the new white duvets that replace the flowered ones at a hotel, you could respond to this one and say thank you to them and say, we've invested in renovations, thank you for noticing, we've done this for you, thank you very much. Another issue I've come across is when a business has a number of negative reviews, and they've taken this information and invested in renovations and lifted themselves up. So you would want to get rid of these negative reviews and hide them because they don't represent the newly renovated property. But unfortunately, it's not that easy to get rid of reviews on TripAdvisor. You actually can't unless there's a valid reason, and it takes a lot of time. So what you can do is encourage more positive reviews, because the more reviews, the farther down that the negative reviews will go. So unless you have people that are looking years and years and years before this, they're not going to see these negative reviews. And the other advantage to this is that people can see, oh, in 2009 they had all these negative reviews, but then now in 2012 they have all these great reviews. So it looks like they've taken the time, they've spent the money, they've done renovations. And to me, this would be a great incentive to stay at the property, because I'd want to stay at a property that took the negative reviews, invested in the changes, and resulted in some positive reviews. So now we're going to look at some tips to improve your TripAdvisor rankings. So the TripAdvisor rankings, it's based on this top secret algorithm that the people over at TripAdvisor have created, but they say that they're ranked on a few key things. So one is how often the reviews are posted. It's important to have reviews added on a regular basis, which can be really difficult for seasonal properties, because TripAdvisor does take into account the dates of each of the properties, of each of the reviews that are posted. So it's good to have a steady stream. Another thing, number 2, is your star rating. So having a high star rating will boost your rankings on TripAdvisor. And how do you boost your star rating? That is just good old-fashioned hospitality. You provide a good service, product, experience to the guests, you'll get better reviews, which will boost your star ranking. You don't need a fancy algorithm to explain that. Number 3 is the number of reviews. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. The number of reviews count. However, this also coincides with your star ranking. So if you have 100 reviews and 99 of them are negative, it doesn't matter if everyone else in your community has only 3 reviews. You're probably not going to be at the top, because even though you have more reviews, your star ranking wouldn't be as high. Number 4 is responding to reviews. So TripAdvisor likes to see responses to the reviews, just as your customers like to be responded when they write a review. So it's important to respond to all the negative reviews as well as the positive reviews. And lastly, number 5 is to follow the rules. So TripAdvisor does have a few conditions that they like to see followed. They don't approve of soliciting reviews by promising free stays, upgrades, other incentives like that. They don't approve of false reviews, obviously, or responding to negative reviews with a negative manner. They say that they have an algorithm that can track all these things, but whether they do or don't, I'm not sure. But it really shouldn't matter, because a lot of these are just general business practices that everyone should follow. So after discussing all this, what's the real secret behind TripAdvisor? It turns out it's just old-fashioned, good old hospitality. That's the stuff that comes naturally to us here in Nova Scotia. The real key to success is getting our authentic Nova Scotian hospitality into words and put online. So what encourages guests to write reviews on TripAdvisor? Well, what encourages you all to write reviews on TripAdvisor? When you have a great experience, great service, you want to tell people about it. We like to brag sometimes. It's pretty much human nature. So you want to make your customers and guests feel like they've experienced something special, something so unique that they want to share it with the world. You want your customers to brag about how great you were. So there's no detailed marketing strategy. There's no shortcuts. A lot of it comes down to just genuine hospitality. So you've heard why you should be on TripAdvisor, but the real question is, why wouldn't you want to be on TripAdvisor? Your customers are going there. They're writing negative reviews. They're writing positive reviews. They're posting pictures. So if you want to spend your time on Facebook and Twitter socializing, why wouldn't you spend your time on an online review site? On Twitter and Facebook, people are going on and talking. They're asking where I should stay. They're giving recommendations. They're talking about things. But TripAdvisor, they're actually shopping. TripAdvisor is usually the last stop, and it's where the decision is being made. So you can spend your time on Facebook and Twitter and chatting, but you also want to be, you want to be on Facebook and Twitter chatting, but you also want to be on TripAdvisor, where people are making the final end decision. So today we discussed TripAdvisor and how to tell your story of your business. why you should claim and manage your listing, the importance of responding to both the negative and the positive reviews, and some quick tips on improving your TripAdvisor rankings. So hopefully in our short time today that I've provided you some new tools that you can use to help with TripAdvisor. And hopefully at least I've convinced you that you should be on TripAdvisor, claim the listing, and if you're not going to engage on TripAdvisor, at least listen. Listen to the things that people are telling you, take this information and use it. It's free information that people are providing you. And so the last thing was, I just wanted to say that on March 19th from 11 to 12, TIANS is having a free social media guide to success webinar if anyone is interested in participating. Registration is limited. I think there's like 60 seats still left in it. And if you want to register, you just go to the TIANS.org website, and there's a link on there that you click, and it's free. And the facilitator is Ross Simmons. He used to be with Color in Halifax, but he is now on his own, doing his own thing. So that's just about it. Does anyone have any questions?